I mean, we had to make a living. I was fortunate to get in the Coast Guard, and we were married, and we loved the military life. And of course, I thought I was going to be a seagoing officer. Didn't expect to be an aviator actually, and then I found out that I could get in aviation, and then I went that direction because they had inclinations in that area, and so therefore I became an aviator. But then it was just a matter of I loved doing what I was doing. I loved it. I liked the people. I liked the rescue business. I liked the fact that when you go to work in the morning, you didn't know what airplane you were going to fly that day. You didn't know what the gong was going to go for. Was it going to be a man overboard out lost at sea, or whether it's going to be a boat that had lost power, or somebody was lost, or whatever. You didn't know what the job was going to be. So you had all the adrenaline that comes from the excitement of the job. So it was, although it was a job, we never really, I never rang the bell at the end of the day. Going home at the end of the day was not a big deal. I loved being home, but I loved my job also. If there were things to do, I didn't go until the job was done, usually. I knew practically nothing about the Coast Guard. In Iowa, particularly in the middle of Iowa, if you were on the Mississippi, you'd know a little bit about the Coast Guard because the Coast Guard takes care of the river floods and so forth in the spring primarily. But no, I knew very little about the Coast Guard. And if they hadn't had a national exam being published nationally, including Iowa, where my father saw it and told me about it while I was going to college, I would have never known about the Coast Guard Academy opportunity. And then he turned me on to that, and I got the literature from the Academy. I saw when I read their book on the Coast Guard Academy, that got me enthused. So I did learn that this might be a good place to try to get into. And then, of course, it was going to be a free education. If you got in, accepted at the Academy, you were going to have a free education if you could measure up to their standards. When I got the appointment to the Coast Guard Academy, we had to think about that fairly seriously, because whether we wanted to go there, because it was going to be a three-year course during the war, and that means we couldn't get married for 3 years. But if I didn't go in there, I'd have to go in some other service, and if we got married, I'd be separated anyway. So we decided that we ought to take this opportunity. I had been trying to get an education. I had done 2 years of getting my own education through my own effort, and now somebody's going to hand it to me if I could pass an exam high enough. So it was worth it, just a thing to try, and so therefore we were interested in it. And then, of course, Mom, she became very enthused about the Coast Guard, and she liked it. She was at the Academy with a year and a half while I was a cadet, so she learned a lot about the Coast Guard and the Academy life, and not being together. We were only together when I was at Liberty, and so she understood about the separations that come with military couples. But she also she liked the people in the Coast Guard too, just like I did. She felt that they were special people,